Urban legends are Hollywood's version of playing telephone. They're like the original viral content. No Wi-Fi required and spread the old-fashioned way. Someone tells a wild story at an industry mixer, usually right after their third martini. Then the story gets picked up by an intern who tells their friend, who tells their dentist, who tells their cousin. And suddenly everyone's talking about that A-list actor who stuck a furry rodent up his ass. But did it really happen? Today we'll be debunking another round of outlandish tales of Tinseltown folklore. Was Paul McCartney replaced by a body double after a fatal car wreck?
A lot of the hardcore fans know these answers actually better than I do.
Was Mr. Rogers a lethal sniper during the Vietnam War? Are Bert and Ernie more than friends and about to be killed off on Sesame Street?
How are you feeling today, Bert?
Find out today on Death in Entertainment.
Live from Los Angeles.
911, what is your emergency?
Here in Hollywood now.
2 counts of murder,
Injury and death.
Oh my God!
Shocking new details.
that has stunned the entertainment world.
This makes me a little nervous.
The hair stood up on my arms.
Just like in the movies.
What do you call this thing anyway?
Death.
In entertainment.
Greetings, Deado Universe.
Hi there.
What's up?
How's everybody doing? My name is Kyle Plouffe.
I'm Ben Kissel.
And I'm Alejandro Dowling.
Thank you all so much for listening to Death and Entertainment. Check out the Patreon, patreon.com/diebud. Okay, Bud and Death and Entertainment have joined forces to give you content every single day of the week. So check out the Patreon, comment, and be a part of the show.
Oh, yeah.
Today, oh my Lord, hope you have your spooky seatbelts on. We are talking Hollywood Urban Legends, Part 3.
And we will be making jokes, okay?
That's allowed.
Yes. It will be scary, it will get dark, but we will bring the light to it, okay?
Absolutely.
But I heard a rumor that it's going to be a great episode.
You heard a rumor.
Wow. The birds are chirping.
Wow.
I love it.
The reviews are in and they're good.
Yeah.
Well, that's good. And without further ado, let's get into it.
Just to remind you, urban legends, those are those stories that people purport to be true.
Yes.
And they're usually not.
But sometimes they are.
Yes.
They can be. Can you think of one that turned out to be true?
We still don't know if Richard Gere did indeed have a hamster up his butthole in the 90s. We don't know.
But we are going to solve that today.
Oh, fantastic.
Wow.
That is one of our topics.
Whoa.
Because we covered a lot of big ones on the first 2 volumes of our Urban Legends episodes. You remember that, Kyle?
Yes.
Ben, you missed it, but
Yes.
we did solve the legends of Mama Cass.
Yeah.
She did not die choking on a sandwich.
No, she didn't, but there was a half-eaten sandwich nearby.
Right.
And they were just piling on being mean.
Yes.
Yeah.
Being rude.
A munchkin did not kill him or herself on the set of The Wizard of Oz.
Was that a stork?
Yeah, it was
Okay.
a bird flying around.
Great.
Yeah.
And then, finally, the Blair Witch Project was not real,
Wait, what?
much to Kyle's chagrin.
I thought it was real.
I mean, why not? I want to believe it's real. It seemed real to me, man. All the camera was all shaky.
Yeah. It wasn't until they were on the VMAs that I was like, wait, I thought they were all dead.
You might be a little dumb. What do you mean? Yeah, they just released a snuff film.
Yeah.
In theaters all across America.
Absolutely.
And on the recent Val Kilmer episode, I would like to clear something up.
Okay.
He did that one-man show about Mark Twain.
Yes.
And there is a famous...
Citizen Twain.
Yes. And there's a famous quote attributed to Mr. Twain. The reports of my death are greatly exaggerated. Well, would you believe that he never said that?
Oh.
Who said it?
Nobody.
No one?
Well, someone did.
He said something similar.
Oh.
So in 1897, There were reports that Mark Twain, a.k.a. Samuel Clemens,
Yes.
had died while traveling abroad. And to clear things up, he released an official statement on the London Wire.
Okay.
Quote, James Ross Clemens, a cousin of mine, was seriously ill 2 or 3 weeks ago in London, but is well now. The report of my illness grew out of his illness. The report of my death, an exaggeration.
Oh.
It's loosely what he said.
Yeah, that's pretty much.
I see. Usually people who take on a fake name, their original name is like Dinglebat Dumpledump. But his name, Samuel Clemens, is actually kind of cool.
It is.
Sounds a little jazz singery.
Yeah, I don't know which one I like more.
Right?
But Mark Twain sounds more folksy,
I guess.
like a storyteller.
Yeah.
And he actually died in 1909.
Oh.
And he was born during Halley's Comet, and he died during Halley's Comet.
The Halley's Comet?
Yeah.
Wait, the one that the Heaven's Gate cult was waiting for?
Yeah.
Yes.
When they committed suicide in their Nikes?
Yeah.
I didn't know that Halley's Comet was commonly coming around.
Yeah.
What is this? Halley's just a little tramp?
Yeah.
He actually died in 1910, but in 1909, that's when he predicted his death. Because he said that since he came in with Halley's Comet, he's going out with it.
Interesting.
And so on April 21st, 1910, he died of a heart attack.
So he is tangentially tied to the Heaven's Gate cult.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Him and Marshall Applewhite are having whiskey together right now.
That is insane. Wow.
Yeah, and I think that's a good lead in to our first chapter, which I call In My Death.
Whoa.
All right.
Yours?
All right. Don't die.
Yeah, you're here.
You're fine.
And it's about Paul McCartney. This is a play on In My Life,
Oh, okay.
Oh, I get it. I like it.
the famous song, you know.
I don't know much of Paul McCartney.
Oh, really?
I know Wings, and what's that one very romantic, beautiful song?
In My Life.
Is that called In My Life?
I don't know which one you're talking
Ebony and Ivory.
No, not that one.
That's the only one I know.
It's the one we were always talking about how we love somebody or something, and then, I don't know.
The Girl Is Mine,
I have no clue.
the Michael Jackson duet.
Oh.
Yeah, it could be.
Well, regardless, he wrote a lot of beautiful songs.
Yeah.
In 1966, there were reports that McCartney was going solo and that the Beatles were splitting up. They really weren't together for that long, which is wild. Mm-hmm. It was around like 63-ish to 1970. They did all that.
It was crazy. That documentary they had where they showed all the unseen footage was fascinating.
Respectful, but
Yes.
also a bit disagreeable.
And then everyone blames John Lennon for having that gal around. But it looked like George Harrison was the one who had a whole vagabond, a whole crew of hippie gals that were more annoying
Wow.
than John Lennon's.
More than Yoko.
Yeah, that's what they were saying. I think Yoko may have gotten a bad rap.
Wow.
You hear that?
That's
Yeah.
an urban legend there.
That is not no, George Harrison had a bunch of groupies. They were all doing Hare Krishna stuff, and
Oh,
I think they were more annoying than Yoko.
In early 1967, word began to spread that Paul McCartney died in a car crash on the M1 motorway, and it was during a particularly blustery winter storm in January 1967. Another version says he died on November 9th, 1966, after angrily leaving a recording session.
Okay.
You pissed me off, John.
I'm done.
Now me dead.
Yeah, well, very good. I didn't know they were an Irish band. We went looking for his gold coin,
Hi-ti-ti-ti-ti.
met a leprechaun, was cursed, and then he's dead.
Yeah.
Yeah, Matthew Broderick ran him over.
Hell is oldest time.
Oh.
To avoid public grief and, of course, financial chaos, the Beatles decided to replace Paul with a lookalike, and his name was Billy Shears.
Okay.
Billy Scissors.
In another version, it was William Campbell.
Oh, wow. Still another Billy.
Yeah.
So this was spreading not only all over England, but this hit the States as well, much like the British invasion.
Oh.
So the rumor was acknowledged and then rebutted in the February issue of the Beatles monthly book.
Dang, they had a whole magazine that came out once a month?
Of course.
Wow.
If Twin Peaks got a magazine, you'd think the Beatles would have one.
I suppose so.
And in that article, they claimed that neither he nor his black Mini Cooper had left the house that night.
Well, so his black Mini Cooper didn't become possessed and then drive itself like it was written by Stephen King to go start a whole series of different chaotic things?
Like it used to be owned by James Dean.
Yeah.
That's another urban legend.
Really?
That the car he died in was sold.
And the spare parts are going into different cars and killing everybody.
Oh, right. Oh, yeah. It was
Cool.
multiple.
Yeah, it was a whole bunch of different, yeah.
Multiple victims due to those spare parts.
Yep.
Pretty awesome. My car's muffler is trying to kill me. I know it. I don't know, Scott. I think you might just be on meth. I am, but I also think my car's muffler is trying to kill me.
The rumor of McCartney's death really gained traction in September 1969 when Tim Harper, an editor of the Drake Times, the student newspaper at Drake University in Iowa, published an article titled, "Is Beatle Paul McCartney Dead?"
Oh, it's like the Badger Herald.
Yeah, it is. This is a big-time deal.
Not quite as influential.
Yeah.
Absolutely not. So really the main person that spread this story was a newspaper reporter from a university?
That's
Yeah.
funny.
Okay.
Well, because it was
In
already, yeah, it was already being passed around, but it was actually being taken somewhat seriously in this article.
Now it's in print.
Yes. And then in October 1969, someone called into a Detroit radio station and told disc jockey Russ Gibb about the rumor. And so they spent the next hour going over clues and discussing it.
All right.
And then a couple days later, the Michigan Daily published a review that was meant to be satirical, but it was a review of Abbey Road by a Michigan student named Fred Labor.
I think what we're learning is there's not a lot going on in the Midwest.
Yeah.
And any information is they're going to run with it.
Fred Labor had originally heard the discussion on the radio of their theories about McCartney's death, and so his article was called "McCartney Dead: New Evidence Brought to Light."
Ooh.
And in this in this article,
new evidence.
Yeah, he outlines a bunch of reasons why he thinks Paul is dead, and that he thinks the Beatles have hidden it in their music.
Oh, God.
Interesting.
And this is where that sort of starts, because I don't know if you've ever heard that they possibly buried some clues in their albums and music.
Yeah, a lot of people look through their lyrics and they glean a lot of information that I don't know.
Yeah, so this guy, Labor, started that.
Okay.
So let's go through some of it. The White Album. There's a song called Revolution Number 9.
Well, that's the one you want.
That's the one that you light a doobie to or drop some acid, and then it makes perfect sense.
Yeah, sounds like a great cologne to wear if you want to get with a chick with a lot of bush hair. I put on my Revolution Number 9. She's going to love me. And there's nothing wrong with bush hair.
No.
It isn't Macy Gray on some kind of campaign to bring back the bush?
Sure. Why not?
I swear, you guys talked about it.
I try to shave my bush and then choke.
Don't bother.
I'm not putting
That's for me to choke on.
I'm not starting another urban legend. I swear I learned it from you, Ben.
Well, then it's got to be true.
It was an article he shared.
Yeah.
We'll get into that another time.
I've done a lot of research on Macy Gray's bush. Kind of the go-to source on it.
So when you play Revolution Number 9 backwards, number 9 becomes Turn Me On, Dead Man.
Oh.
So let's hear a little of that.
Huh.
Turn me on, dead man.
You a necrophiliac?
Yeah.
Number 9, number 9, number 9, number 9, number 9.
Ordering at McDonald's.
Number 9, number 9.
This guy's hungry.
Number 9.
He's feeding a village. You hear it?
Turn me on, dead man.
He wants to be brought back to life.
He's just talking to a guy named Deadman. Like Jewish guy.
Stedman's brother who married a broke Oprah. The Deadman. Well, it's because you said the words, so then I can hear them.
Yeah.
But I don't know if I would have gleaned that or picked that up if you didn't tell me.
You're not stoned enough.
No, I'm not.
So let's go to Strawberry Fields Forever. At the end of the song, you can hear John Lennon saying, "I buried Paul."
Ooh. Also, John Lennon wouldn't do it. He'd have a bunch of servants do it. You see him digging a hole? No way.
He's too busy hitting women.
John Lennon?
Oh.
Yeah.
Hey.
Yeah.
He did a love-in.
Yeah, he did.
He was peaceful. Yeah, well, have you heard Yoko? Just kidding, Paul.
Okay.
Lennon claims that he said cranberry sauce.
I
Why
don't
don't we hear that again and
let's-
listen for cranberry sauce?
Cranberry sauce.
Now I hear that.
No, I hear I buried Paul.
Oh, boy.
So far, these prove that they were just hungry.
Yeah.
Trying to order at McDonald's.
Number 9.
And now he wants cranberry sauce.
With cranberry sauce.
They had the munchies.
That British McDonald's is a hell of a lot better than ours.
If they got cranberry sauce.
So he buried Paul. I could hear it.
But didn't he die in like a car accident?
Well, you still got to bury the body.
Well,
Yeah, he's not saying he murdered him.
he just buried him. Okay, so
He may be a beater, but he's not a murderer.
Yeah.
And then we have A Day in the Life. Maybe this is the song you're thinking of? Well, the lyrics go on to say, he blew his mind out in a car.
Oh.
Didn't notice that the lights had changed.
Oh. It's about traffic. That's exciting. You know what song I was thinking of?
What?
Baby, I'm Amazed. Is that him?
Maybe I'm amazed.
Maybe I'm Amazed. Oh, he doesn't even say it? Baby? He says, maybe I'm amazed?
Well, that's the name of the song, Maybe. You're thinking of Baby, I Can Drive That Car.
No.
Into a ditch where Paul Lennon.
No, I just got
Paul
the lyrics
McCartney
wrong.
died.
I thought he said, baby, I'm amazed at the way you look at me and stuff. But he's saying, maybe I'm amazed?
Yeah, but he may
Yeah.
be saying it to his baby.
Well, just tell me if you are or not.
I like how Ben's mind is blown not over the urban legend, but that it's maybe instead of baby.
Well, it just totally ruins the song, doesn't it?
Yeah.
'Cause
I
it's
think,
like, maybe I'm amazed. Well, let me know.
Are you or not?
Let me know.
Well, you know what? If you go to Buddy Holly, you get both.
Oh, okay.
Maybe baby.
There we go.
Wow.
And now let's take a ride on the Magical Mystery Tour.
I'm scared. I don't want to go on this tour.
They're dressed as walruses.
Yeah, that's fun.
But curiously, Paul is dressed as a black walrus,
Whoa, why is it got to be racial?
Okay.
which is a Viking symbol of death.
Interesting.
And this was referenced in the song Glass Onion from the White Album as well. And then on the photo inside the album, there's a photo of the Beatles in white tuxedos, and they're all wearing carnations. The only one who has a black carnation is Paul. The rest are red.
Maybe he was trying to be a contrarian.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
By dying?
Could be. What's more contrarian than that? You want me alive? Yeah, right, buddy.
I'll show you, Joan. Paul is sitting behind a desk in another photo, and his nameplate reads, quote, I was. Ooh. As in, I was alive, and now I'm not.
Wow.
Past tense.
I think he's dead.
And then on the White Album, there's a photo of Paul inside the sleeve with a skull in the background. And then, of course, the plain white cover is symbolic of death or absence.
Man, this guy really had a chance to get out. You know, he could stay alive, but if everyone thinks he's dead, he could have had such a great time living as a ghost.
Yeah.
And then Abbey Road, this is the time when the rumors are really spreading. Let's take a look at that cover. It looks like a funeral procession. John's in white, representing the preacher. Ringo's in black, and he's the Undertaker. Paul is
Undertaker.
Had to do it.
Paul is barefoot and out of step, and he's representing a corpse. And then you see George in denim, like Leno.
Yeah.
I only have denim. You see this, Kevin? It's warm.
Yeah, it is pretty warm.
Oh, no, that's the fire. So George is the gravedigger.
Okay, so they all have a role.
Yeah. And Paul is seen holding a cigarette in his hand, his right hand specifically, even though he was left-handed.
Oh, he can hit the cigarette.
No. This is his imposter.
Oh.
He forgot he was supposed to be lefty.
I see.
Billy Shears. So they're using Billy Shears to reference the fact that Paul is dead.
And Billy Shears is smoking all wrong.
Jeez.
Wow. Shears, you have one job.
Yeah, but maybe they didn't notice that he was left-handed. Could have just been a mistake, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And then a VW Beetle is seen in the background with the license plate reading 28IF, interpreted as 28 if Paul had lived.
Okay. All right.
What?
I like it. I'm with it. I feel that. Yeah, he would have been 28 if he would have lived, but unfortunately he's dead. Yep, he died doing what he loved. He's kind of driving into a ravine, maybe.
So he's part of the 27 Club then?
Allegedly, supposedly.
Yeah.
Okay.
And remember that student, Fred Labor? He later admitted that all his theories were a bunch of rubbish.
Wow.
I say they check out, though.
They seem to check out.
Well, that's...
I mean, come on. If you're going to be a conspiracy theorist, this is your burden.
Yeah.
You got to stick with it until the end.
It's all like gossipy moms and aunts that are just like, they say that, Paul was replaced. And they're like, who's they? Just they.
Just they, No, you got to go out like Bill Cooper if you're going to be a conspiracy theorist. You can't backtrack.
Yeah, how did Tipper Gore discover that playing Ozzy backwards, you hear Hail Satan? I think she did a lot of heavy drugs in the 80s.
I wouldn't be surprised. Her name is Tipper. Yeah. She was such a psycho.
Oh, my God. So Paul addressed the rumors in an interview with Life magazine.
Oh, that's ironic.
And he stated firmly, quote, "I'm alive and well."
Oh.
Yeah, sounds like something someone dead would say.
Yeah. Can't fool me, asshole.
And later on, Paul McCartney parodied the hoax with the title of his 1993 live album, Paul is Live.
Whoa.
What do we think?
I think that he might be alive no matter what. It gave us a great comedy skit from the one and only Chris Farley from the Chris Farley Show, which was an SNL sketch where Chris Farley was like, people said you died. Is that true? And then Paul was like, no, it's not true, Chris. I would think he's probably still alive because if he was a body double, I don't know. Would you? Well, I don't know. Who knows?
I have a question, though. Would he do that duet with Michael Jackson?
The body double?
That seems kind of Billy Shears-ish.
What was Paul racist?
No, I just mean, it seems a little below him. That's
Michael Jackson.
What?
No, that's,
just the song itself.
Look, I sort of love the song, but it is so corny.
Oh, it's super cool.
It's like it's kind of like the turd in the punch bowl of the Thriller album.
They were trying too hard to establish like a cultural moment.
Yeah.
And it's kind of weird that Michael Jackson is so much younger and they're both having like a schoolboy argument over a girl. Like she says, "I'm her forever lover." Like, shut up, Billy Shears.
Okay.
Whoa, you're in.
I mean, what if Paul could have both? What if he got his cake and ate it too, where he's still alive, but he gets to have this stunt double like he's Saddam Hussein, and then he's like, I really don't want to go to Poughkeepsie for this concert. Shears, you're on it. But then it's like Coachella, and he's like, you know what? I'll go to Southern California. Shears, you're out.
Right. But I don't know, wouldn't it be better just to lay low and look at John Lennon's legacy? Like, he didn't, he died, so he couldn't do anything more.
Right.
And that's enough. Like, I think Paul McCartney had done enough. So he should have just done what Elvis did. Faked his death, disappeared.
Oh.
And then get accidentally seen in the background of Home Alone. Okay, so I don't think we believe this one.
No, I think Paul's alive.
Yeah.
He's alive.
All right, that brings us to our next chapter called An Officer and a Gerbilman.
Oh, boy.
Or American Gerbilo.
I like that.
Or Pretty Wombat.
It works. I learned a lot about the wombat on my Instagram.
Did you?
Yes. You know how they kill their prey?
How?
With their butts.
What?
How apropos.
Yes. They really have no defense mechanism. So they run towards their hole, and then their predator comes to try to get them, and then they squeeze their heads with their butts. They twerk them to death.
Wow.
Jesus.
Yeah, because apparently their butts are real hard. It's like cartilage in there. So that's how the wombat evolved.
Holy
It's pretty
shit.
exciting.
Elton John's going, hey, where can I get one of those?
Why wouldn't you?
So I have a little story here. By the way, Elton John was attributed to a similar rumor as Richard Gere years earlier,
Oh, okay.
where he was having fun at a party.
He killed a man with his ass?
Things got a little out of hand.
He got wombatted.
And then he collapsed.
Oh.
And people rushed him to the ER.
Uh-oh.
No, he prolapsed.
And
Possibly.
and they pumped his stomach to save him, but instead of alcohol,
It was semen.
Kyle's heard this one.
Oh, okay. Okay, we get it.
That's also been attributed to Rod Stewart.
I just don't see either of them as being big guzzlers. I feel like they're both spitters for some reason.
They make other people guzzle.
Yeah, they're fancy boys.
Or receivers.
Or receivers, of
Right?
course. In the,
That's more
Well, they're the givers.
in the other place.
certainly more sanitary, right?
Yeah.
Well, I suppose so.
Okay, are we ready for story time?
Yeah.
Grab your popcorn. It all started in early 1990. We're in a Los Angeles emergency room. The lights are flickering. It was a quiet night. Almost too quiet. A bored ER nurse, sick of the usual sprains and stitches, turned to her equally bored coworker and said, "Sure is a slow night, huh?" Then, all of a sudden, in through the doors comes Richard Gere. He's severely distressed and walking kind of funny. His buddy is helping him stand up straight.
Yeah.
In the exam room, they request complete discretion. The doctor looks at Richard Gere and asks, what happened? And
How much time you got?
Yeah, exactly.
Richard Gere points downward. And the doctor pulls down Richard Gere's pants.
Uh-oh.
And he's shocked. Inside Richard Gere's ass is a dead gerbil.
Oh, it died?
Oh.
It couldn't even scratch its way out.
And luckily for Richard Gere, he just had some scratches.
That's good. Good.
And they patched him up. Unfortunately, the gerbil, as I mentioned, did pass away.
Unfortunate.
So they sent it to the local vet.
Mm-hmm.
And they told the vet, don't repeat what I'm about to tell you. But
I thought the vet told him not to. Don't repeat that again, Richard.
this came from Richard Gere's ass.
Okay.
Wow.
And yeah, to Richard Gere, of course, after they gave him a lollipop, They said,
In his ass.
you be...
Well, that's
per his request.
Yes.
They said, we don't want to see you here again like this. And all was well. Except remember those bored nurses?
Oh, they told everybody.
Well,
And it got to all of our high schools.
One nurse told her sister the next day, and then her sister told her coworker the day after that, and then her coworker, you get the point.
Yeah.
Right. It kind of went downhill there.
And that's where it started.
Yes. I just did have to search if an animal could live in an anus. Apparently, no.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's not good. A lot of waste in there. So the animals really can't live that long, which is unfortunate.
Oh, that's too bad.
Right?
It's
Yeah.
like that planet on The Empire Strikes Back where they fly their ship into it and they realize they're inside a worm.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe that's what the gerbil's experience is like
Right, yeah.
before he takes his last breath.
Oh, poor guy. Poor guy. I mean, at least he died instead of a movie star. It's kind of cool.
So this is called gerbiling. Inserting
Very creative.
small live animals into one's rectum to obtain stimulation.
Guys, when you guys said we were going to come over for gerbiling, I thought that was a soup. I thought that was a nice soup that you guys were going to cook me. I did not realize it was going to be on my stomach with a gerbil crawling into my ass.
And this started in the mid-1980s.
Oh, it had a moment.
Sometimes it involved a mouse instead of a gerbil.
Well, that's mousing.
I blame the cocaine.
And then sometimes to other male celebrities. But none gained traction like Richard Gere.
I mean, it made it all the way to Stevens Point, Wisconsin.
Yeah.
So this is crazy. Around the time Pretty Woman was released, it was a monster hit. And it put Julia Roberts on the map.
They put a gerbil in his ass.
Yep, absolutely. Maybe that's what he paid for. That's why he had to get a sex worker, because he wanted to do something a little outside the norm.
Hey, pretty gerbil. Walking in my ass.
Pretty gerbil.
An anonymously circulated fax lands in Hollywood offices and in hundreds of newsrooms.
There were facsimiles sent about this?
Yes. And it's supposedly from an animal rights group that's protesting Richard Gere's inhumane treatment of gerbils.
Wow.
So they believed it right away.
And people tried to figure out where the fax originated, and to this day, they do not know.
Has Richard Gere commented on this?
That is a great question, and I have the answer to that.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
He's commented on this story exactly once.
Okay.
And this is a really rare interview that I've actually searched for years. And I finally found it last night.
No.
I mean,
Yes.
it's just one of those things where if you have to say, no, I never shoved a gerbil in my ass, everyone listening is like, I think he may have shoved a gerbil in his ass. It just sucks to have to deny it.
Why even talk about it?
Why talk about it? Yeah, what if I did? Why talk about it?
And so now, for your viewing and listening pleasure, this is the infamous interview between Barbara Walters and Richard Gere.
Barbara Walters mentioned this?
This
From
is incredible.
1991.
Wow.
In recent years, there's been a smear campaign. Vicious. We had it ourselves when it came out that we were going to interview you. Nasty letters.
Really?
Yeah, really. Do you have
Okay.
any idea why anyone would want to hurt you or embarrass you? Or try to smear you?
No. I've been in the public eye for, you tell me how long? 15 years? 20 years maybe? Let's start with, no, not that long. Maybe 15 years. There've been a lot of ridiculous things.
Well, I'm
said
not
about
going to
me.
delineate this in the year because it is so rotten. But it hurt us that we were getting this kind of information
What?
Well,
about you. And we couldn't understand.
I should
why.
clarify what you're talking about. You probably can't even say it on the air.
No, I can't. And I won't. We won't.
Well, you are, so.
Does it bother me? Personally?
Yeah.
No. Does any of this bother me personally? No. People have their own motivations for doing crazy things, you know, and it has nothing to do with me. You know, if I'm a cow and someone says I'm a zebra, doesn't make me a zebra.
Sure.
if I'm an actor, you know, and then all of a sudden someone says, I have a gerbil up my ass.
And
doesn't make me an actor with a gerbil up his ass.
I like how she says it hurt her. I think it hurt Richard more.
I'm sure it
that
did.
Scratching.
I think it hurt the gerbil the most. Yeah. Also, Barbara Walters, it's just so funny. She was a respected journalist, and in hindsight, all of her interviews are trash.
Yeah, they're so bad.
They don't hold up at all.
I find her entertaining.
She is very entertaining.
And she's responsible for the only time he's publicly commented on it.
They got a bunch of angry letters.
Oh, my God.
Please, they had a good laugh over it, probably. Hurt by it.
He should have just gone everywhere with a skeleton of a gerbil in his pocket, just pulled it out.
In a jar.
And she acts like she's Pollyanna.
Right.
What does she think people do with gerbils?
Sure. They go gerbiling.
Yeah.
So, I mean, this permeated the culture. Let's listen to this scene from Scream when Neve Campbell is talking about the rumors about her dead mom, and then Rose McGowan says something.
And you believe it? Well, I mean, you can only hear that Richard Gere gerbil story so many times before you have to start believing it.
I just picture Richard Gere in the movie theater just be like, really? The fuck? Really?
Come on, man.
Can I enjoy this movie without you guys talking about this gerbil in my ass?
Finally, a horror flick I'm enjoying. This is great. Then he gets to that scene.
It's really meta, huh? Wow.
And supposedly, Kevin Williamson and Wes Craven were afraid of including that line in the movie. The studio didn't want them to because it names a name.
Right. Yeah.
And they did it anyway.
Help. And no one's like helped by this story. Right.
Mike Walker, the gossip columnist from the National Enquirer, spent months trying to verify the Richard Gere story. Quote,
this is his Truman Capote moment.
I've never worked harder on a story in my life. And after a lot of investigation, he couldn't find any evidence. Quote, I'm convinced that it's nothing more than an urban legend.
Ooh. Wow. Thank you for your crack research.
Yeah.
Butt crack research.
I think that maybe he was outspoken. There are some blind items that he wasn't very nice behind the scenes as well. Which it's hard to believe because, you know, he's Richard Gere. Like, he seems like a nice, great guy.
Yeah.
You know, actors, they're always going to be a little divas.
Yeah.
And in 1993, at the Oscars, he went off script and condemned China and urged them to free Tibet.
See, there you go.
And then he was banned from the Oscars for 20 years.
Will Smith got 10 years.
I know, it's bullshit. And he was the only cast member of Chicago that was not nominated for an Oscar. I mean, even Queen Latifah got a freaking nomination.
Yeah.
Wow. Well,
China's like, free Tibet. How about you free the animals from your colon, asshole? Leave us alone.
Leave us alone. Wow.
Yeah, maybe one of the Academy members was a gerbil owner.
Yeah.
You never know.
You never know. You really, the rhyme or reason. But it did get political, huh?
Yes. He's always been political. But, you know, great actor.
Great actor, absolutely.
So,
He acted like he didn't have a gerbil in his ass that whole interview.
He did lean over and start scratching his ass, which I thought he was doing as a bit. But I don't even think he noticed he was doing it.
I think that it is. I think it has happened before.
You do?
Where not with him per se.
Okay.
But certainly at a Hollywood party, people have explored what it's like to have rodents inside their buttholes.
Oh, definitely.
I do believe it has occurred, and I wouldn't be surprised if it happened and then someone's just like, let's say it was Richard, and it went from there.
They say that it's never happened, period, that there's no evidence out there.
Oh, there's got to be evidence. I've covered so many news stories. I'm sure. I'll find a news story right now.
Okay. All right.
Report
back to us. What, Kyle?
Thank you.
In our Patreon chat, Vanessa saying, urban legend or not, in my world, Richard Gere had a gerbil in his ass.
And good for him if he did.
I mean, he was dating Cindy Crawford at the time.
Well, that's a beard. There's no way that wasn't a real relationship.
She wasn't furry enough.
Yeah.
No.
All right, that brings us to our next chapter, which is called Eat, Pray, snipe.
Bum, bum, bum.
And I have a couple of quick little vignettes here from famous figures that might surprise you.
Okay.
They were all snipers in a previous life.
Okay.
Dave Thomas, you remember him?
From Wendy's?
From Wendy's. He's the guy that told you to buy the Big Bacon Classic for 99 cents.
Support my daughter.
And he pushed down on the patties. That was the big thing at Wendy's.
Yeah.
They smushed the patties.
I don't like that.
An early incarnation of the smash burger, perhaps.
Indeed, but the smash burger would require some juice in that meat.
Keep the grease in my burger.
Also, just to go back for a second, according to folklorist Jan Harold Brunban, there are a lot of accounts going back to 1984 of gerbiling, and it does involve a mouse or a gerbil. But
accounts?
There's accounts. But there was
accounts receivable.
But there were no reports in peer-reviewed medical literature. So there was no peer-reviewed.
If they didn't see a rodent in someone's ass, then I don't believe it. Okay?
According to Dan Savage, sex advice columnist, he discusses these things. In 2013, he says that he has never received a first-hand or even second-hand account of the practice. So he would know. So maybe it hasn't happened.
Well, I'd bet that it would.
And one of the weirder aspects is, Richard Gere produced movies later on. He produced that movie Furry Vengeance.
Did he?
No, he didn't.
Oh, God damn it.
The Gerbil's Revenge.
Okay, back to Dave Thomas.
Yes, please. Sorry. I used to work at Wendy's. I love it.
Oh.
He went under the tutelage of, I was going to say Colonel Mustard. Who's the chicken guy?
Colonel Sanders.
Colonel Sanders.
It was Colonel Mustard with the square sandwich in the library.
So that's where he learned the trade and opened Wendy's eventually. Well, before all that, did you know that he was a member of the National Guard?
I did not know.
And he started in Ohio.
Okay. Ohio.
Well, one sunny day, May 4th, 1970, he was called to Kent State University.
Oh, my God.
To, make sure that the protest that was going on there remained calm.
This is the very famous Neil Young song.
Yeah. Well, it got a little out of hand, and Dave Thomas was the one who fired the first shot that killed one of 4 students that day.
Oh, dead in Ohio.
And the decision haunted Dave Thomas to the day he died.
Wow.
And Wendy's PR team was sweating every night after that, hoping that story didn't come out.
It's very interesting.
Because if you knew that, you weren't going to buy the Baconator.
Yeah.
But you know what? We still would, wouldn't we?
Maybe.
Yeah.
It is pretty good.
But
especially the pretzel bun.
Oh, the pretzel bun's fantastic. Wendy's really is a great burger. But did they even have the Baconator yet?
Probably not.
No.
That's a new concept, I think.
I mean, the Baconator does sound like it was created by a chef that's killed a lot of college students.
Yeah.
Or maybe a tie-in with the Schwarzenegger movie.
Could be.
Well, the facts say that there's no evidence that Dave Thomas was in the National Guard.
Oh, not at all in the National Guard even.
But I think he was in Ohio at the same time this happened.
Okay. It's loose. That's loose.
All right.
But I give him a pass because Wendy's has been good. It's been good for a long time.
Remember Mr. Rogers?
Of course. Oh, don't ruin this for me.
So most remember him as that friendly TV host, church-abiding, family man. Well, what if I told you he was a sniper during the Korean War?
A Marine.
I could actually see this because he was very calm. And the documentary about him, it'll make you cry. But he said he was always afraid of being angry because he never knew what he would do. So that's why he would speak in character if he got mad, because he was afraid of his own rage.
Didn't want to release the demon inside.
Didn't want to release it, so maybe that was the PTSD from being a sniper.
Fred Rogers was recruited by a top-secret U.S. elite Marine unit.
That explains he changes his shoes every time he enters a room.
Oh, yeah.
And leave no tracks.
Yeah.
And he was one of the most lethal operatives in U.S. military history. He was his thing, everyone has their thing. He was known for never speaking during the missions. And so they called him the cleric.
He wasn't speaking, the puppets were.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm going to kill you.
I just sent that son of a bitch to the land of make-believe.
They called him the cleric for his chilling precision and quiet, calm demeanor.
Cool.
It said that he once took out 3 officers at over 700 yards using a scoped M1 Garand, then vanished into the snow without leaving a footprint.
See, I believe it. I believe that. There is something about Mr. Rogers. All those old timers we used to talk to, they all had blood on their hands.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And then I remember my grandfather, he would take his dentures out and I'd be like, what are you happening to their teeth? But then God knows what he did in Korea.
You don't want to know.
I don't want to know.
When Mr. Rogers returned home, he swore an oath to never take another life. And so he devoted the rest of his years to teaching peace, kindness, and emotional intelligence to little kids.
The only people he ever wanted to kill, Bozo the Clown. He would have killed Bozo. Thinks the show is stupid. He also didn't like modern action like TMNT and stuff like that. He was mad at the way that children were being taught.
Well, he didn't like them watching shows about mutated turtles.
Violence, stupidity, things of that nature. He wanted children to learn the right things.
You mentioned Bozo the Clown. There's actually an urban legend where there was an early episode of that show where a kid was fed up with him and said, "Cram it, clown," live on TV.
Oh, wow. Did he kill him?
I would kill him. And from then on, he became a Simpsons character.
And you want to know why Mr. Rogers wore long-sleeve shirts and sweaters?
Covered in tats.
Yes, it was to conceal the tattoos that represented each of his kills.
I could see it, bro. I could see him being a Ned Flanders type, speaking of the Simpsons. Takes off his shirt, just completely jacked.
Yeah.
Covered in tats.
And our last sniper is Henry John Deutschendorf Jr.
Are you German by any chance? No, I'm Deutschendorf. I'm Canadian.
Better known as his stage name, John Denver.
See, now that stage name's an improvement.
Yeah.
Deutschendorf.
Deutschendorf.
He was stationed in Vietnam in the late 1960s, and he was also a sniper. And his technique was legendary. It was called the Denver method.
Oh, God.
You've heard of the Denver omelet?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, instead of cracking eggs, he was cracking skulls.
Nice.
I like that. All right. I mean, he could just sing them some of his sweet lullabies and put the enemy to sleep. I do like him, but a little dull.
He would hide out in a tree with the sun in a certain position behind him. And then he'd wait for his prey to come into range. And when they did, he would make a low whistling sound to get their attention. And then when they'd look up, they would be momentarily blinded by the sun. And that's when Deutschendorf Jr. would fire his weapon.
Yeah, that's the Deutschendorf method. That's better.
Yeah. Is that where he came up with that song, Sunshine on My Shoulders?
It is.
Oh.
Really? So he killed dozens of Viet Cong using the Denver method. And later he was decorated with a ton of Purple Hearts.
A ton.
1 ton of Purple Hearts.
And so after coming back to the States, like Mr. Rogers, he felt really guilty about what he had done. And he decided to take up music. Like, hey, I'll give this a try.
Right.
And one of his biggest hits, Sunshine on My Shoulders, was his admission of guilt.
Oh. Well, he's talking about how it makes him happy.
Yeah, let's listen to a second of that to remind people.
It doesn't seem like he's very guilty.
It does sound more ominous now that you know his history, though, I have to say.
Yes.
Sunshine on my shoulders makes me happy.
Oh my God, the last words you hear before you're popped in the head by Johnny D.
But when I did a little fact checking, I found out that he's never been to Vietnam.
Oh, not at all.
No, he was
not
already,
even on tour or anything.
No, especially not on tour.
Has he been in the sun? Do we know that?
No, and he hated Colorado.
Did he really?
No.
Oh,
All his
yeah.
songs are about, like, I'm a country boy, Rocky Mountain.
Yeah, that does make sense, though, because what did he die in a helicopter or a plane crash?
He made his own plane.
And then that crashed.
And it crashed.
Oh, wow.
The propeller went right through his head.
Oh, that's not good. Can't write a song about that.
I mean, sunshine on my shoulders.
Right. That's the old, because there's no head to block. There's no shadow.
Pano Man in our Patreon chat is saying Rocky Mountain high and to the left.
To the left.
Okay, so that brings us to our next chapter called The Trench Connection.
Uh-oh.
And it's about an underground tunnel that was found at Gene Hackman's estate.
Oh.
The most recent one, the New Mexico joint?
Yeah.
Okay.
And this is our most recent urban legend. That's kind of fun, right?
Wow.
Yes.
So the claim is that following Gene Hackman's untimely death, the FBI discovered a secret tunnel under his home where over 700 bodies were found.
Oh, my. Well, that would explain all the rats.
Yeah.
And
Good God.
his wife, of course, died of the hantavirus.
The hantavirus. And they have just come out and said that he was not dehydrated, but he was completely empty. His stomach was completely empty. So he just had a week where he just didn't eat and was walking around the corpse of his wife. Poor guy.
That is so sad.
Right?
So this tunnel theory seems to have originated in a YouTube video posted by a channel called The Ultimate Discovery. And it has over 1 million views.
It's got to be true.
And let's watch a little clip of this video.
As they combed through the property, one agent stumbled upon a hidden trapdoor. Beneath it lay a dark tunnel, its air thick with decay. Stepping inside, their flashlights flickered over walls smeared with dried blood. Scattered across the floor were human remains, bones cracked and flesh rotting. The deeper they went, the more horrifying the sight became. Dozens of bodies, lifeless eyes staring into the abyss. Who had done this, and why? The tunnel seemed endless, whispering secrets of terror. Then a sudden noise echoed ahead. A chilling laugh. Someone, or something, was still there, watching them. Had they just found the lair of a serial killer? Let us have your opinions in the comment below.
What?
How many bodies did they find?
Over 700.
Well, that seems like it would have been a bigger story.
And a bunch of artifacts and weird maps and notes.
Wow.
Okay.
Well, there's a disclaimer in the description of the video that says, quote, "The content presented in our videos is intended solely for entertainment purposes."
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Well,
and no credible news outlet has ever reported on this story.
It's a lot of body. Like, I mean, what John Wayne Gacy had, 28 in the floorboards? That made like international press. 700 would have made a big news story, I think.
Definitely.
That's a
So
lot.
I think we can categorize that as false.
That one might be false, yeah.
And
So far, I think the Richard Gere one is the closest one to being true.
Yes.
That and Wendy's. I could see that, Dave Thomas. he had a lust
fire
for
under
blood.
his belly.
He had a fire under his belly, although they were grilled. Actually, the meats were grilled.
So our next chapter is called Burtback Mountain.
Oh.
About Bert and Ernie.
Oh, America's favorite straight couple.
Yeah. So the claim is that Bert and Ernie are secretly a gay couple.
Bumping fuzzies.
Mm-hmm.
And then it goes a little further that Ernie is dying of AIDS.
What?
This is not a laughing matter.
Oh.
Very serious.
Well, he's got a hand up his ass at all times.
Well, that's the thing.
So,
I'd rather have a gerbil up there.
In 1980, Kurt Anderson, who later founded Spy Magazine, wrote an essay about Bert and Ernie. Quote, "They conduct themselves in the same loving, discreet way that millions of gay men, women, and hand puppets do. They do their jobs well and live a splendidly settled life together in an impeccably decorated cabinet."
Oh, right. I guess so. I never really thought their house was that nice.
And let's watch a clip from the show. Decide for yourself.
All right.
So this is a moment where Ernie is reading poetry, which the yellow one is Bert, right?
Yeah.
So Ernie's reading Bert a poem at bedtime, And in their room, they sleep in the same room, of course.
Well, Kyle and I do that.
And
Right as an arrow.
on the wall is a framed photo of Bert and Ernie together.
Yes.
Listen. The Park by Ernie. I like flowers, I like dirt, but most of all, I like Bert.
Oh.
Hey, Ernie, that's beautiful. It's a beautiful poem. It rhymes and everything.
Okay, pause it for a
Bert's going to
second.
visit his brother Bart, so he...
Now, this is a later time when Bert is out of town and Ernie is just beside himself.
Bert's going to visit his brother Bart, so he's not here. But I won't be lonely tonight. No, sir, because I'm going to put this pillow under Bert's blanket here, and that'll look just like Bert's body, see? And then I've got this picture I did of Bert's face. I put it there on the pillow, and now it looks just like Bert's asleep in bed here. Right, Bert? Tickle, tickle, tickle. Come, Bert?
Give it a nice little hump.
Ernie, did you kill Bert?
Yeah.
Because that is extremely creepy. All right. Well, yes, love is in the air. Much like Ren and Stimpy, who are now an openly gay couple as well.
Yeah, I'm happy for them.
Good for them. Good for them.
So, yeah, I mean, they live together. They bathe together.
Yeah, I believe this is not even a conspiracy at this point.
Eventually, TV Guide began receiving letters that were complaining about Sesame Street condoning a same-sex relationship.
They're Muppets.
And conservative commenters ranted about how the characters should be banned from the show.
TV Guide didn't create the show. Why are they complaining to a magazine?
There was even a rumor.
They just needed somewhere to complain.
There was even a rumor that the two were going to get married in an upcoming episode. Oh. This is a similar situation as Tinky Winky from Teletubbies.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Wasn't Tinky Winky transgender or something? Is that
well,
what they were saying?
At least gay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And, maybe trans. We don't know.
We don't know.
Times were different then. But, yeah, that was a little more blatant than even Bert and Ernie.
It's just so funny.
Because Tinky Winky was purple. I mean, am I right, folks?
Am I right? I don't even know. I don't know.
And held a purse. Isn't that wacky?
It's just so funny now, too, because of Caden, Kyle's kid. I've been watching some Sesame Street.
Yeah.
And kids don't give a shit.
No.
They don't even think about this stuff.
Of course not.
It's all the parents.
There was a 2011 petition to request that the characters actually get married.
Oh, okay.
People that wanted it.
I also don't need them to get married.
Yeah.
And interestingly, in 2013, when the Supreme Court made the same-sex marriage legal, excuse me, I'm verklempt.
New York versus Sesame Street.
Bert and Ernie appeared on the cover of The New Yorker, cuddled up together, watching a TV showing the Supreme Court justices.
Yeah, I don't really need to think about them having sex with each other.
It should have been Queer Eye for the Straight Guy.
It's fine.
Really throw people for one.
Mm-hmm.
And here's the official statement from the Children's Television Workshop, which produces Sesame Street. Quote, Bert and Ernie do not portray a gay couple. They are puppets, not humans.
I love that response.
But then in 2018, a former writer from Sesame Street named Mark Saltzman said that they are indeed a gay couple and that he based their dynamic as a, quote, loving couple on his own relationship.
Oh, okay. There you go.
Well.
They both like to have a bunch of hands stuck up their ass.
Yeah.
I love it. Good for them.
So now let's get to the dying business. Jim Henson's sudden departure due to toxic shock syndrome in 1990.
That's how he died?
Yeah, and that's a future episode.
That's what happens when you leave a tampon in too long.
Oh,
yeah, I do all the time.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Richard Gere's going, what are you up to, Mr. Henson?
I'm just trying to keep that gerbil in.
He's got Remy the rat up there.
So this sparked rumors that the show was going to kill off the character of Ernie, who Henson provided the voice for. And so,
I mean, that would be a really dramatic episode.
If that was true, it wouldn't have been the first time that Sesame Street or the Muppets had confronted mortality head on, because in 1982, actor Will Lee died. And on the show, he portrayed Mr. Hooper, the affable owner of the local general store. And rather than writing him off, they came up with the idea that Big Bird would learn that he's gone and not coming back. And we have a short clip from that.
Life lessons.
Where is he? I want to give it to him. I know. He's in the store.
A Big Bird?
Hmm?
He's not in there.
Oh. Then where is he?
Big Bird, don't you remember we told you? Mr. Hooper died. He's dead.
Oh, yeah. I remember. Well, I'll give it to him when he comes back.
Oh my God!
Not the sharpest bird.
It's too sad. It's too sad. Oh my God!
I like how she couldn't be clearer.
Yeah.
He's dead.
He's never coming back.
6 feet under.
Oh Lord!
Pushing daisies. You feel me?
Oh, it's okay. I'll just wait here.
I'll just wait.
That's fine.
Poor
Maybe
Big Bird.
Big Bird killed him.
Yeah.
You never know.
And the Muppets dealt with the death of their creator, Jim Henson, in a TV special at the time with the production number called Just One Person, where they find out that he's gone.
Oh.
So anyway, Jim Henson dies, and then there's the rumor that Ernie's now going to die. So in a 1991 letter to the editor of the New Hampshire Sunday News, another college student here, a student protested the morbid idea. Quote, their plan is to slowly deteriorate Ernie by giving the viewing audience the impression that he has leukemia, eventually killing him.
What?
No.
And so then the student launched a petition to save the character of Ernie.
Please. Not leukemia.
And in another version, Ernie has AIDS, not leukemia, and that he has been suffering for years, hence his sickly appearance. Yellow and orange skin, sunken eyes.
Okay.
I've been using injectables, Bert.
And this rumor of AIDS spread during the height of the epidemic in the late 80s, early 90s. And so in the same press release from the Children's Television Workshop, they stated, quote, Ernie is alive and well, and we have no intention of anything happening to him or anyone else.
Thank you. God, what are we even talking about here?
And I will say that, unlike the gerbil, Ernie did not die.
Good.
And he, in fact, thrived for the rest of the 90s, as when they came up with the Sleep and Snore doll, which became one of the hottest gifts of the holiday season next to Tickle Me Elmo.
All right, there you go. Sleep and snore, get tickled awake. Very fun.
So what do we think? Do you think that was ever going to happen? First of all,
That they were going to kill off Ernie?
Are they gay?
Yes.
And did they plan to kill off Ernie?
I agree with they are Muppets, they are puppets. But yes, I do think they represent a gay couple. And maybe they were. Maybe they were.
I think they're just roommates. And that they only really have,
Kyle believes the propaganda.
3 rooms in their home. They're just, struggling guys. So they have to share a 1-bedroom apartment together. It's more of a tale of the times.
Yeah, but if you had a roommate, you don't put a pillow under the blanket and put a statue of his head where his head usually is.
Well, he's got issues. I don't know if that's gayness or complete psychopathy.
And it might be, okay, that might be, all right. So maybe Ernie is obsessed with Bert. And it's more of almost a kidnap situation.
Yeah.
Oh, like unrequited love.
It could be the case.
Also, do straight
You know
guys...
who needs to get on this is Jenny Jones.
Jenny Jones?
Jenny Jones, the TV host from the 90s.
So that Bert will murder Ernie?
Well, so that
in a trailer park?
So we would know exactly what happened.
One of my favorite websites from the early internet was bertisevil.com. And do you guys remember this at all?
No.
It showed him like doing coke with a bunch of strippers and stuff. This one he's riding with the KKK.
Oh.
So I mean,
come
you never know
on.
what Bert's up to.
Jeez.
I mean, we just know he was hanging out with his buddy Bart.
Yeah.
Bert and Bart, they sound like they might be Klansmen.
Right. Who he called his brother.
Mm-hmm.
Hello.
Yep.
Yeah.
Also, do straight guys usually pose for photos together and then frame it and hang it up on the wall in the bedroom that they share? Is that a straight thing to do?
They might be autistic.
Oh, please.
They're on the spectrum.
Muppet World might be different. Maybe they have different societal norms. I'm not exactly sure. The thing is, they don't have genitalia.
Yeah.
So, not that you require that, but I don't think there's no, like, who's the top, who's the bottom.
Well, hold on,
because
though.
I don't know if they have the ability to even do that.
I have an opinion on that. It is movie and TV show magic. Like, you're not supposed to know they don't have genitalia or legs. You know what I mean?
Well,
they show legs.
Like that's the behind the scenes kind of thing that someone's hand is up their ass. But on the show, like you assume they have legs.
Yeah,
You know
they
what
show
I
the
mean?
legs sometimes. Yeah,
Yeah. So
that means they got a cock and balls.
yeah, I guess.
I don't know
Okay.
what about the hole?
Okay.
It's a little dry.
Yeah.
Well, we have another hole to fill right now
Okay.
with our last story.
All right.
And this is actually a lead-in to next week's episode.
Yes.
So this next segment is called The Little Racist.
Okay.
And so this is an urban legend about Bill Cosby and the Our Gang series. So the claim is that he bought the rights to the Little Rascals in order to keep them off television forever because they depict racial stereotypes.
What?
Yes.
Okay.
So we remember the Little Rascals, right?
Yeah.
Of course.
It was pretty ahead of its time in that it had integrated casts and it showed kids of different races playing together.
And genders.
Yes. But it also contained some racist elements that were of the time, including basically just generally stereotypical behavior, from the black children, like using minstrel show tropes, like the exaggerated speech and some of the styling and costumes.
Okay.
And then the black kids were frequently used for comic relief. For instance, they were the ones that were scared of ghosts, but the white kids weren't.
Right.
So they were seen as like stronger. And then there was actually blackface used for comedic effect in the show. In a 1936 short called The Lucky Corner, one of the kids wears blackface. And in 1971, King World, who owned the rights to Our Gang and Little Rascals, edited parts of that episode out that were then and now deemed racially insensitive.
Right. Times have changed.
Yes.
Only Jimmy Kimmel's allowed to do it.
Well, not anymore, to be fair. But 20 years ago, anything went. But yeah, so that's basically the gripe with the Little Rascals. Not really a gripe, just a fact that a lot of it hasn't aged too well.
I mean, Fat Albert had a lot of different stereotypes and tropes as well.
It did.
Sure.
And Cosby had his hand in that for sure.
Yes, he did. He had his hands in a lot of things.
So let's watch a clip from the Little Rascals that shows this. So this is from an episode called A Lad and a Lamp. You get it? A Lad and a Lamp.
Nice.
And the character of Stymie rubs the lamp, and he wishes for chicken, watermelon, and that his pappy is out of jail.
Oh, my God.
Oh, my goodness.
Don't be scared. Go ahead and rub it and wish for something. What I wish for? Or anything. Go ahead and rub it. I wish I had a watermelon. I wish my pappy was out of jail. I wished I had some chicken.
I mean, all three valid wishes, to be honest.
And Cosby was attributed to the rumor that he bought the Little Rascals because he was one of the prominent figures who campaigned against CBS to stop playing the show Amos and Andy in the 1960s.
Interesting.
And Amos and Andy was about the misadventures of two black friends in Harlem. And they were originally, it was originally a radio show voiced by white actors with exaggerated dialect. But then when it was on TV, it was black actors. So some people liked the representation,
I see.
but it was still stereotypical.
Right. And this is one of the interesting things about Cosby. It's sort of lost now, obviously, with as time has gone on. But he was proactive in the black community, but then also he would be on the more conservative side in many cases as well.
Yeah.
Pulling your pants up and he was...
Quit swearing, Bob!
Kind of demonized
Yeah.
as well, some of the culture.
Remember he came to Milwaukee once?
Did he? I didn't see him
in the early 2000s.
At the Pabst?
Yeah, he went to I don't know, I think a school, and he gave one of his speeches.
Oh.
One of his pull up your pants speeches.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
And in 2004 he gave an infamous speech that's known as the pound cake speech. In which he went off script and attacked the black community. And he contrasted past civil rights struggles with what he saw as a modern lack of discipline.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah. He said, looking at the incarcerated, these are not political animals. They're people going around stealing Coca-Cola, people getting shot in the back of the head over a piece of pound cake. And then we all run out in our outrage. The cops shouldn't have shot him. What the hell was he doing with the pound cake in his hand?
Well, what's he doing with the pound cake in his hand? Coming up next, The Ultimate Warrior, talking about gay rights.
So in 1989, the rumor began to spread that Bill Cosby had bought the rights to the Little Rascals episodes because he wanted to keep it off television.
Huh.
The problem with that is you could see the Little Rascals episodes on TV after that. And there was even a big fancy movie from our childhood.
Yeah.
And so I don't think he actually bought the rights.
I don't think he bought the rights. He probably has a bunch of rights to a bunch of stuff, though. I don't know what, but...
Yeah, and we're going to...
He's all blind now. So he's just living...
Among other things.
I think he's pretending.
Oh, you think so?
I can't see. Let me out of prison.
Like that Harvey Weinstein thing where he's using a walker.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to hear a lot more about the Little Rascals next week. That's just a little preview.
Yes.
Lots of murder, death, gambling.
Ooh.
Are you telling me these child stars grew up and it wasn't as good as we hoped?
So that most of them didn't grow up.
Oh,
brother.
It's going to be real sad.
Once a little rascal, always a little rascal.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
And that brings us to...
Final thoughts.
Final thoughts. Wow.
All right. What do we got here? So, Richard Gere, the more I think about it, very possible. I'm going to go possible. 50-50. Bert and Ernie, we know that one. I think we covered that. I don't know.
Dave Thomas, you said?
I'll go Dave Thomas as well. Yeah, why not? Oh, and Mr. Rogers. I could see Mr. Rogers having a lot of blood on his hands. And that's, again, why he was so pure and he had to... It's the yin-yang.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't know. I think, Dave Thomas, it's possible. But I think the biggest thing coming out of Wendy's, urban legends-wise, was the finger in the chili.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Someone found a finger in the chili.
The lady made it up. She said she found a finger in her chili, and she tried to take down Wendy's and then was just like, I got caught. I'm an idiot.
Yeah, never mind. There was no finger in there.
Yeah.
And there wasn't a finger in Richard Gere's ass.
No.
Because it was a gerbil.
It was a claw.
That's what they're saying. I can't believe that made it all the way to Barbara Wawa.
Yeah, I think Richard Gere should have come out as like a huge advocate for HIPAA so that like nobody can find out about your medical records just to fuck with everybody.
Oh my God.
That would have been incredible.
Yep, just lean into it.
Yeah, because I think that happened before HIPAA. I think that people would have found out if he actually went to a Los Angeles hospital for being clawed in his colon by a fucking gerbil.
I think we would have known. Also, that crack journalist that was on it.
But it is interesting, the power of spoken word and just like the word of mouth. It made it to everybody's middle school and high school in America.
Definitely. You thought of that poor gerbil when you heard the name Richard Gere.
Yeah, and then South Park even made a episode about it with Lemmy Winks.
Yep.
And they let him go in the colon of Mr. Slave. It's like, Jesus Christ.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, urban legends are amazing things, and it happened so much more in the 90s.
It really
and
did.
Earlier because you didn't have the internet as much.
Well, then again, now you have like Slender Man. People are actually getting stabbed over that.
In Wisconsin.
Yep. It all still lives in the imagination, I guess. Maybe they're cautionary tales. So for anyone who was like, I'm going to shove a gerbil up my ass, maybe they rethought it.
That's exactly it. Cautionary tales. And these urban legends say a lot about where the culture is at the time, too. Very fascinating to me.
I think in the early 90s, everyone was like obsessed with butt stuff because being gay was so taboo. And obviously there's a lot of gay people in Hollywood and around the world. So maybe that played into it also.
And race. Because remember that story about Tommy Hilfiger going on Oprah saying that he didn't want black people to wear his clothes?
I do remember
that. Oh, that was fake, yeah.
That never happened?
Never happened.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
You're just learning that was
Yeah, I mean, I don't think about it often, but yeah, I did think that he was racist.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
Okay.
But that was a huge one in junior high.
Oh, big time,
Like, people would say that their sister has the videotape of it.
Yeah, and the Lauryn Hill thing, too, where she said she'd rather die than have white people buy her album.
Mm-hmm. She didn't say
fake.
that?
No.
Hey, I don't know.
No,
I'm
but
just a gullible goose.
Yeah, I believed that one for a long time. But yeah, we covered that before. That that was all BS.
Well,
Yeah.
Go listen to the miseducation of Lauryn Hill right now.
A lot of hot cups of BS.
Yes. And do you hear that?
You've got mail.
Oh, my Lord, we've got a mailbag.
Wow.
Mailbag.
Yes.
And before we get into that, I just want to say one last time definitively, R.I.P. to the gerbil.
Yes.
Absolutely.
For the Val Kilmer episode, there's a lot of comments on this one. Andrea Jackson Wooldridge said, new favorite podcast. I love hearing Ben's voice again. And the other two dudes are funny as F.
That's right.
Oh, the other two dudes.
The
We
banter.
got dudes, baby.
Yeah. The banter is somehow.
You got some fan mail coming up.
Yeah.
You read.
Yeah, the banter is somehow lighthearted, even though the subject matter is dark. Great storytelling and lots of LOLs.
Thank you so much. That's the goal.
Yes.
Get through this together.
Exactly.
Because the goal is when you have something as serious as the Richard Gere story,
Oh, I know.
you have to get through it without smiling.
Yeah. Another one, 5 stars on Apple Podcasts, titled Came for BK, Stayed for Alejandro.
Woo! Whoa. There he is, baby. That's Wisconsin brotherhood.
Yeah.
Wow.
Longtime fan of Ben Kissel. Alejandro's always there with the brilliant one-liners, and Kayatola is now my favorite conspiracy theorist. Keep it coming.
I love it.
From Miss Minerva.
Oh, Miss Minerva.
Minerva.
I wonder if that's New York, upstate New York. They did a comedy show in Minerva, New York. Scary.
So thank you guys. Keep sending some ratings in for us, please.
Yes, thank you all so much for supporting the show. Again, patreon.com/diebud. Check out every show live. And we good?
I think so.
All right, everyone, hail yourself.
And until next week,
don't go dying on us.
Bye.
You have just heard
A true Hollywood murder mystery.
I have never seen anything like this before.
The movies, Broadway, music, television, all of it.
A place that manufactures nightmares.
Okay, everybody, that's a wrap.
Good night. Please drive home carefully and come back again soon.